See if it works as expected. Looks like it's recording. It's gonna be good to go, Joseph. Should be a bit of fun. Yeah, how are you?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. What do you think of the new studio?
It's neat.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah,
Yeah. It's boutique.
yeah. This room, man, has been through so many phases. It was a garage when we first got here, and then it became just a shed workshop, and then this was the original brewery for Renee's kombucha.
Yeah, I think I came down when she was fermenting, and I can't remember what for, but yeah.
Yeah, that, and then it became a spare room with a bed in it, and then now it's a studio. So it's had a few lives.
Helensville's first studio.
Yeah, I don't know. There's that one down underneath the hairdressers that there was some sound guy, Matt or something. I'd never really met him, but he had a little studio set up under there, which looked quite cool. I was actually wondering if that might be available at some stage in the future.
Oh, mate, what's the point? Check this out.
Yeah, this is all right. You can do 2 people in here. I mean, I've got enough space so I can set up someone else over here.
Yeah, you can have 4 people in here.
Yeah, kind of get a couple of people in if we need to. There's a couple of mates there's 2 of them want to come over and do the 3 of us just chatting and talking shit. It should be fun.
Beers.
Yeah, a couple of beers. They're dads from the netball team. They want to call the episode Netball Dads.
Oh shit! I maxed the blooming audio out on that one.
We hear it here, but it should be okay on the video that goes up.
Yeah,
it should be in here. I think there's a little bit of compression running on the on there, so hopefully it doesn't sound too bad over there. But yeah. So social media for kids.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that? Because your kids are a bit older. They're getting into those teenage years.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's just it's so tricky, eh? Like, I've got a 13-year-old girl and Jackson just turned 12 yesterday. Oh. He's not that keen on social media, but in a way he sort of is. So he's really into Fortnite and Minecraft and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so he gets online with his mates and they talk on there, and they might be doing strategies or whatever. So in that respect, that's a positive form of social media, like Minecraft. Fortnite is similar as well, but it's a different type of game. So, but they still strategize, like they'll team up, and whether they're doing a capture the flag or last man standing or whatever, then they'll work together and try and get rid of the other groups
Yeah.
But he's not really into the like what grown-ups consider social media, like Facebook and that.
Yeah.
Poppy is she's into TikTok, and I don't know, it seems reasonably harmless, but it just depends on what they're posting, you know what I mean? Like, she's only like 12, 13, and they want to share videos of themselves in their flipping tank tops and stuff like that. I just reckon that's not on, because you don't know who's watching on the other end.
Yeah.
And I think it's all innocent because it's only them and their friends that can see what they're doing and that, but in reality it's not.
Yeah, that you don't know who's sharing it onwards, and
yeah,
they want to...
Oh yeah, it's just a video, like a 10-second long video or something, like on TikTok,
Yeah.
And then it's get 30,000 views. It's like,
that's crazy.
Well, there's only 800 kids at Kuiper College, so
yeah, who else is watching it?
Who else is watching it? And
yeah,
it's creepy. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not massively stoked about it.
Yeah, no, look, I'm like you. I've got some concerns. My kids are younger, but they're at that age where they're asking now for phones. Can we get a phone? Because a couple of their friends are getting phones, and they're like, oh, can we have one? My mate's got one. I'm like, no, you don't need a phone yet. You don't need one. Oh, but we want to get one. But as soon as they get it, it'll be social media that they're into.
It is straight away. So yeah, I mean, Jackson's really polite and sort of doesn't really push it too hard. Yeah. So he got a Nintendo Switch instead of a phone.
Oh, yeah.
So for him, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But when he gets a bit older, when he starts walking home from school and all that sort of stuff, then that's sort of when we would want him to have one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. For safety like that, definitely.
But yeah, with Poppy, it was more peer pressure and that kind of situation where, she was wanting a phone real bad.
Yeah.
And it's a tough one because, like, if you say no, then she's the odd one out.
Yeah.
And then you're putting that on your kids by saying no, we're going to make you be the odd one out.
It's a tough thing. I think we've got to move with the times. Like for that exact reason. You don't want to make your kids sort of stand out as being you're the only one in your group that can't play and be involved, and then can't be connected and aware of what's going on. But at the same time, got to kind of keep some communication open with them to understand, like, hey, what's okay and what are you seeing, and and what's going on.
And they're so moody. Kids, like, they're going through hormonal changes and all this sort of business, and like there's so many parenting not so much apps but like locks and what you can do, family share and all this sort of business, what they're allowed to use. But even with Fortnite, that's an R16 game, so if Jackson's not playing that on my account, he can't play it.
Okay.
Because he's only 12. So if we'd set him up as a user on the PlayStation as a 12-year-old, he can't do it.
He can't play these games.
It's locked out, and you can't retrospectively change it. You'd have to set up an entirely new account.
Right. Because you put a birth date in or something like that, so they know, and that's it. Get another shot at it.
No. So Sony's actually really clever in the way that it does that.
Yeah.
And I was a bit pissed off because I'd set him up with his account, and it was 12, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I can't play Fortnite." And stuff. Okay. Yeah, but with the iPhone, if you can lock them out of apps, and you can put on, screen time, how many hours a day they're allowed to use it, and what hours of the day they can use it, and all this sort of stuff. But the more locks you put on and the more restrictions you do, the more resentment the kids have against you for having set it up that way, and it is just this battle, eh?
It's a tough one because they're young. They don't have the experience that we have to be able to see what some of the pitfalls might be of that social media. Like the random person who starts talking to them and saying, "Oh, hi, how are you? Oh, yeah, and where do you live?" It's like that's creepy. What happens out there.
I don't think we've experienced anything like that. But it's just the whole number of views, and like they're addicted to likes and or that sort of thing, So like,
I
think Poppy put a photo up. She'd done her makeup and just took a little 2-second video of her lips or whatever, or her eye makeup, whatever it was, which got, mate, honestly, 30,000 likes.
Wow!
And it's, mate, I've got Liberty's got 10,000 followers, and we don't post anything that gets 30,000 likes. So I mean, like, what the fuck? I don't. Yeah. That creeped me right out. I was just, it's hard to wrap your head around.
It is. Well, and all that stuff now is becoming AI driven. Like, it's just looking at the content that comes up, and whatever it finds something in it, it knows, okay, that'll be popular, and so it gets promoted and pushed out to people. YouTube's the same.
Yeah.
It's not just sharing with people that you know.
No, it's not. No. I mean, you can set it up that way, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, they don't. They just put in their details and then they're away. They don't. I could go on there and change the settings, but then again, they're addicted to the likes. And so it becomes almost like a I'm better than you. Like, say, a group of 5 friends are all on TikTok. One person gets the 30,000, and then the other ones only get 5,000 or something like this, And then when they're in the playground or socializing, it's like, well, you only get this and that, and it's
some new competition.
It's honestly, you really have to have your finger on the pulse to understand how deeply entrenched it is into their social workings.
Oh yeah. I can imagine it. Pardon me. Just the incentive then that is there to start posting content that you really don't want them to be posting. It's like, if I do this, I'll get more views. If I do that, I'll get more views. And you can kind of see there's an incentive in there. Yeah.
But it's not just views. It's somebody actually has to push a button.
You go and watch it.
To say, oh, that's good. I like it. So the views are one thing, which I'm sure it feeds you, but for an interaction is even.
It's a step further of engagement. Someone
Yes.
has gone further and actually pushed a like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And then the people will be like tagging some of those people. That's the thing. Like the followers that you've got that you're aware of, but yeah, you know your friends are following you. But then, say if someone's getting 30,000 views on a video, there's other people out there they've just got no idea who they are. Well,
this
is
is TikTok, So like I think with Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, they've got controls, and so you can say who can see this.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? With TikTok, it's like whatever goes viral everywhere.
Yeah, right.
No, it does not restrict it to people who follow you or not. So that's what makes it that much scarier.
Yeah.
In my mind, anyway.
So you can see how people make a business out of just being on TikTok, though.
Mm-hmm.
If you get that first viral thing, you get a bunch of followers and you can produce it with some more content like that. I don't know how you make money on TikTok if you advertise or if it simply becomes you use it to then go look for sponsors to say, hey, I've got heaps of followers. Why don't you sponsor me your shirts or something and I'll wear it in the next
video. I think
video.
it's like that. And then you can link it onto YouTube is another good link because like if you know if you don't swear and if everything's
meets the community guidelines.
Meets the community guidelines, and so if you can link your TikTok to YouTube and say, oh yeah, more stuff here on YouTube, then
true,
you get a click through and
yeah, that's true. That would make sense.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm not into that sort of stuff. I mean, if you go back onto my social media when I was prolific on it 10 years ago, I'm just sitting there eating chilies and
I saw that video.
drinking beers.
I thought you survived the chili quite well.
Oh yeah, I've done. Gosh, I don't know. There'd be at least 20 on there.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I did it. I would have done it for around 2 years, I think.
Jesus.
And I took a break from it. It was getting pretty fucking painful. I hated it. You wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you just be like, oh shit, off to the toilet. And you can't get out of there for about half an hour.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Were you doing that like as a theme for a while? Were you? The chili and beer thing.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Was this the early days of Liberty to get Liberty brand awareness?
I'm not sure.
Just for fun.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say at the start of the video that I'm Joseph from Liberty Brewing.
Yeah.
And I'd have to go and have a look back at the first ones, just to see what I was actually thinking about. But yeah, I think I've probably only got about 400 followers on YouTube,
Yeah.
But yeah, God, man, I think what it was actually was we had a good relationship with Fire Dragon Chilies for a period there, and we still do. Don't get me wrong, but I just look, Clint, don't take this the wrong way, buddy, but I guess my arsehole can't take it anymore because I really can't. So he invited me to do a chili eating competition. So he was building his business and connecting with popular other businesses. Yeah,
collaborative brands.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Effectively. And he saw that I was pretty good at. I mean, I'd already been trying to get super, super hot chilies from him in the first place, and then when he sort of figured out who I was, then he was like, I don't know if he was impressed or whatever, but I went all the way up to flipping the national championship for chili eating.
How do you get how do you do that? How do you get measured? Is if you don't pass out, or if you just say, yeah, I will come back for the next round, that's how you proceed?
Well, I might have been a wild card, but what am I? Sorry, just getting a phone call. Yeah, so how they do it now is he's got regional competitions, and whoever wins the regional, say Auckland or Hamilton or Wellington or whatever, will go into the nationals.
And to win a round though, like you have 6 people sitting down, they start and they start eating like a safe, soft, low level intensity chili, and if you go to the next one, that's how you proceed until someone just says, I've had enough, and there's one person, last man standing.
Last man standing, yeah.
Gotcha.
So, like, I guess just from watching my video, maybe from watching my videos and seeing the chilies that I was eating, he was like, oh, no, you'll be fine, you can compete.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did that. But I think a lot of the videos that I was making, it was just sort of training the palate to be able to
handle it,
to go up there and do that. and because you're not allowed to, you have to chew them. You have to wait 5 minutes. You're not allowed to have any water or anything like that, and it's 5 minutes between rounds, and it just intensifies. So,
Jeez, would you say you got the national championship level?
wow, I mean, I competed. I think it was 10 years ago. Kids were pretty young at the time. So not 8 to 10 years ago, and I wasn't the first one to get knocked out. So,
Wow.
but I wasn't the last man standing. That's for sure. I think what ended up happening was I think I'd done about 6 or 7 rounds, and it was pretty gnarly. And they'd done this chili vodka. They had this Butchalokia chili, the ghost chilies, and it was dehydrated, and they soaked it in vodka for about a month or something. It was bright red, and I had that, and it really took my breath away, eh? And so I was just like fucking drooling, and your saliva's really hot too. Oh, and my nickname was the salivator. So I'd just be fucking drooling. It was disgusting, and I inhaled some of my drool, and so it started burning down my is it the larynx? I suppose?
Your esophagus or into your lungs or something.
And I was just like, and then I spewed up in my mouth a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is it. And so I just said to whoever was judging, I was like, does it count if I spew in my mouth and swallow it? Because if you spew, you're knocked out.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah,
Jesus.
fucking idiot.
Do they have something like an antidote so that if you're like about to die, you have some of this and that'll just knock it on the head?
Milk's supposed to do it, but so milk's great because you have some, and then it's calming it down, but all the capsaicin's still in your flipping mucous membranes and whatnot, and it just comes back. with a vengeance. So
Bread, years and years ago, I was out at a dinner, and a mate and I said, okay, we'll try these chilies. We'll have a challenge. So a whole bunch of us there. And it was, I don't know what type of chili it was, but it was hot. And finally, after we're just like crying and drinking beer and pleading for milk from the floor, the maitre d' walks past and says, what you need is bread. He said, and you get bread and you just chew it and chew it and chew it and chew it. And I think that must like help extract that, like you're saying, out of the mucous membranes.
I can see how it's feasible.
Yeah.
Man, when it's in there, it's in there.
Yeah.
These things are as hot as pepper spray, eh? It's so hot.
Yeah. Like insane pain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I start chewing it, I get the hiccups and start drooling and it just, depending on the chili, it will either ramp up really slow and you just get really scared, like when's this gonna
when's this ride gonna stop? I've had enough.
Well, you have a good one to have if you want to really get, a good idea is like the habaneros.
Yeah.
Because they just go straight up and then it hits a level really fast and then, you freak you out a little bit and then it kind of tapers off. But they're nowhere near as hot as some of these other ones that we were doing.
The ghost chilies. And
Carolina Reaper, 2 million Scovilles. It's 10 times hotter than a habanero. And you feel all 10 times of it as well. It's insane. And it burns inside your ear holes. Your eyes start burning sometimes.
Jeez. I'm surprised people don't actually die doing this.
Well, it's just a physical reaction. It's not actually burning. It's like it's just a simulation, or it stimulates those pain receptors that would normally detect heat or burning. So it attacks them and anywhere where there's a mucous membrane. So that's why it always burns on the way out too, because you got mucus lining to lubricate your business and whatnot. As the business slides through, you're like, ooh. TMI.
No, but that's rough. I remember years ago, my dad too. He was cutting up some chilies he'd grown in the backyard, and I cut them all up and finished, and afterwards, and just like rubbed his eye and didn't realise, and his eye was just watering and starting to swell up and all that kind of thing. Because just a little bit, I think after washing his hands, he still had enough on there that he just got a little bit into the mucus around his eye, membrane in his eye.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. No. I do that at Vietnamese restaurants. So you have some bum boe, like the spicy pho, and you're doing your noodles and stuff, and you drop your noodles back in the bowl or whatever, and it splashes up into your eye because all that red chili oil's on the surface, and it's like.
Do you grow any chilies?
I used to, but my proficiency in the garden's not particularly good.
Yeah.
And they're seasonal things. Actually, we grew some chilies down at the brewery this season.
Did you?
In amongst, well, we've been growing these lime trees down there.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And one of the lime trees wasn't doing particularly well, and I got given I can't remember what the variety was. Chili plant, and, man, it just went.
In the same pot where the lime tree was.
Yeah. And it went ape shit, man. Must have got kilos off the one plant.
Wow. That's good. It's plenty of sun down there, I suppose. We're sitting out the side out the front of the brewery.
Yeah. And we're loading those lime trees up with citrus feed big time, eh? So,
oh yeah,
man, they've grown amazingly. Good on you, Zane. He's a good lad.
Cool. Did he work for you, Zane? Or was he?
Yeah. He was.
Nice.
He's a good boy. He's everybody that we've got down at the brewery. We got such a good team down there.
Oh, you have. I know from the dealings we've had with you guys in the past. Just been awesome, helpful, friendly people. It's been great. Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, we're just starting to get the garden cranking here. But the things that I'm looking forward to coming up are the artichokes.
Oh,
got a couple of those artichokes growing finally. So,
what do you do with those?
Oh, the ones that look like the Scotch thistle, those ones.
Yeah.
You get them just before they go. Go to seed. I guess almost is before they get too hard and dry. Just boil them, cut them off and boil them, and then you peel the layers off, and then like each of those petals, you can scrape out a little bit of flesh. But once you get right down to the heart of it, that for me is the closest thing to meat that the plant world produces.
Oh, right.
That little bud in the middle, it's just beautiful.
Have you had jackfruit?
No. Oh, is that the one? It's kind of pink and white with little black and white seeds all through it. Is that jackfruit? Or is jackfruit the one that smells really bad?
Oh, that one that smells bad. What's that?
Dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit. Yeah, I've had that stuff. It's fucking yum.
Yeah.
But man, it stinks.
Yeah.
I went to Taiping yesterday actually, and they had them in the freezers. You just don't want them sitting out at like ambient temperature, eh?
Shit, man! In here today,
fucking flies come out, eh?
Yeah, well, that's what they attract. That's the flies are the pollinators. Yeah. Kids' bloody stuff over here in the corner of the room. I was looking around for a brush to clean something, and they had a little jar of paintbrushes, and I went to pull it out, and it was wet. I was like, oh, and as I pulled it out, the reeking stench that came out of the water that's been sitting in this glass with like 10 paintbrushes in it for so long, it's just gone off. But it had formed some, like a SCOBY. There was like a jellyfish growing in there in this rancid water. Man, it was disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll never forget. Durian, that's what it's called.
That's the one, the durian fruit.
Yeah. When we went to Hong Kong, they were like vending it on the street. You could have, it's so cheap over there.
Yeah.
Well, I was eating heaps. I just can't, it's just such a unique, it's almost oniony, garlicky, but really sweet as well. Like yeah, it's crazy, but.
Yeah, people love it.
Gives you bad breath, eh?
You can kind of see why.
Yeah. Jackfruit's you can make vegan pulled pork out of it. You can like barbecue it like you would. You smoke it and
can you?
Yeah. And another good one, if you're interested, is watermelon. You cut the skin off the watermelon. You have it all the pink stuff and make a ball out of it, and then you coat it in some of the ash that's in your for smoking. Yeah. So you burn wood.
Yeah.
And some of the ash, so it's quite alkaline. There's a bit of chemistry going on there, and then so you coat it in the ash, let it soak in there for overnight or whatever, and you clean it off, and then rub it with normal barbecue rub, and then smoke it for like 4 hours or whatever, and then you slice it, and comes out like quite meaty.
Really?
Yeah. Watermelon of all things. Yeah.
Geez, you have to give that a go.
Yeah. And the other one is, like I said, jackfruit, and you can make a vegetarian pulled pork out of it. Yeah. There you go. That's all I know about it.
You're into your food then, quite a bit. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Different foods and things.
Yeah, I love it.
But
that's food. Everyone thinks it's beer, but it's food.
It's food. Yeah,
I love this stuff. Okay, man. I was in Queenstown last weekend, man. I can't believe the amount of food that I ate. But nothing was rubbish apart from McDonald's for breakfast. But it's so busy down there, you can't get a booking anywhere.
Yeah.
Managed to get into one cafe and had some nice food there, but for breakfast.
Are there new places down there? Is it starting to sort of come back after the 2-year hiatus?
Oh, it was heaving.
Yeah.
Absolutely heaving. Like mate, honestly, I was thinking, oh, get a booking in at Juvoy Steakhouse or Botswana Butchery or something like that. No chance. It's booked out months in advance.
Yeah.
Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's good for the town.
Good for the town, yeah. Yeah.
Plenty of snow.
Well, that I could see. It snowed the day that I left there. But yeah, there's just people walking around with their skis, and I've never been there when it's been like that. Like every time I go, it's just the start of the ski season. I'm not sure that the fields are even open. We go down in June.
Oh yeah.
Normally, and yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like it was humming. You couldn't get car parks anywhere.
International's open, I guess, again too.
Yeah.
So
I went on a wine tour, and there was blooming. We were the only New Zealanders on the bus, 2 people.
Wow.
And everyone else was either Australian or American.
Yeah. Where'd you go on the tour?
Gippsland Valley.
Nice.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, such good wine down there.
That'd be a fun thing to do, if you had the coin to go and set up just a winery, just the beautiful outdoor areas that we seem to have, and just have people come in and spend weekends there drinking wine.
Oh man, the investment that's involved there is, and it's just crazy. Yeah, far out, man. Some of these wineries just, yeah.
Would you ever look to, with the brewery, with Liberty, go and set up other Liberty-themed bars and that sort of thing? Maybe sort of like Hallertau, they have a restaurant brewery to sort of support the beer. Have you ever looked at doing that, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, we've thought about it. Just sort of, it's just a cash flow thing. Like I think we've trying to keep everything all organic and in-house and all this sort of stuff. So, but we've been approached a few times with people who want to get involved in the hospitality side of it. Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, that's where the real money is anyway. Like doing it the way we do is fine, but you really need good volume. Like if you were starting out a new brewery, you could have a little 500 litre brewery out the back, and a 250 square metre sort of shopping warehouse type thing, and dedicate 100 square metres of that to hospo and just serve the beer that you make on site. That's
best promotion you could have for the product too, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The margins, it's so much different. It's a complete, like, we'd have to sell pallet loads of 6-packs to make up for one night of trading.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So not make up for it, to compare to.
Yeah. I can see then why you're looking at doing the food place alongside of where the tap room is. That makes sense.
Oh, we kind of don't really have a choice there, to be fair. Yeah. Like it's you either hope somebody else takes it on.
Oh, because you've got to serve food.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember that was a challenge that we had when we used to have the kombuchery.
Yeah.
Was getting approved the right type of foods that we could actually get away with. And because we'd originally said, oh, can we just talk to the fish and chip shop down the road and the pizza place and order in? And they was like, nah, too far away from you guys. You need to actually be doing it there on site. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I know. I really think it depends on sort of which council you're in. Because say down in Nelson, for argument's sakes, they don't have any issues with it at all. You
don't need to provide food.
No, just a pizza place across the street's good enough, or curry place, or whatever. So, we don't moan about that. We just managed to get a license the way that we operate now. But that is entirely dependent on, the shop next door
being able to provide food for people when they're drinking.
Yeah. So we've taken that on, and shouldn't be too much longer when we're up and running.
Oh, good. Is it gonna get a rebrand and everything, or you got a name for it, or not?
Oh yeah,
not saying yet, but
well, I mean, the idea is that I don't want to do fish and chips. I mean, I'm going to be there cooking there myself, so I don't particularly fancy doing battering fish and deep frying it and all that sort of stuff. And it's no point reinventing the wheel. I mean, there's already fish and chip joints in Allensville, so.
Burgers,
yeah, that sort of stuff. I mean, there's already burgers, but we'll do really, high-end ones.
Proper hot dogs?
Maybe. Yeah. Well, just to try and keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
And we've got a good story as well. Like Jeff Bradley, who gets grain from the brewery, like our spent grain, he feeds that to his cows, and we're sourcing all our meat through Andy
Oh, yeah, through Andy Cummings. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Nice. Is it Riverside Meats?
Yeah, River Valley.
River Valley Meats, yeah.
Yeah, and then the bread buns that we're going to source from Dan at the Real Bread Project.
Nice. Keeping it local.
Keep it local.
Yeah, that's really good. That's cool.
Real micro local too, because like when you're drinking the beer and eating your burger, you know, the cow potentially ate the grain that
your beer came from.
Yeah. It's like
that is super recycling. That's really good. Yeah, Dan's a great guy too. You know, we again at the kombuchery. I think we were his first client when he started down there with the Real Bread Project. I think we first took on some of his like croissants or pies or something like that. Yeah, way back, a few years ago.
Oh, he makes amazing stuff, eh? Like I've spent a lot of time in Melbourne, and they had this croissantery called Loon, and these people in Melbourne would queue up for 2 hours to get it's a croissant.
Yeah.
It's got ham and cheese baked into it, and it tastes really good. Yeah. There's a guy over there, Manu Potoi, and he's an ex-New Zealander, lives in Melbourne, runs a bar, and a restaurant, and then we became friends and stuff like that. So he kind of come on, like I got to skip the queue, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I got to have one. It was like, yeah, fuck, that's a good croissant. It's like, yeah, amazing, eh? Like it's all the rage out here in Melbourne. I'm like, sweet. I'm not really into pastries, but I get it. It's good. It's like, because I like steak, whatever.
Yeah.
So, having had Dan's croissants, it's like, mate, we've got it here in Helensville.
Yeah, I know.
It's equally as good.
Yeah, man.
Look, if not better. He makes the flour himself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. That's the mill you can see out the back.
Yeah.
That wooden sort of mill rig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's got great stuff. We're so lucky here. I mean, we shouldn't say this. When I was talking to Matt the other day, we're like, we should just be telling everyone in Helensville, no, it's just full of crackheads because we don't want everyone coming here. But the way I'd describe it, if we were going to have a little logo for it, it would be just everything you need. It's just got everything you need here. You don't kind of realise.
Oh, mate, it's just not with food and stuff like that. I mean, but look, with the food, there's not a lot of places to go, so let's just make that straight, but like the golf courses around here, there's some little things in Helensville are just some of the best kept secrets.
Oh, yeah. The New Zealand Rally is coming out here next weekend, I think it is, or the weekend after that maybe. And they're doing their shakedown run on Old North Road. So I'm going to try and sneak out there and have a look. It's not one of the race legs, but it's one of the roads they must have chosen to say it gives us enough variation up, down, round,
they used
around.
to have the WRC come out here along Kiwitahi Road. This is a really challenging leg.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the roads are ideal for rallying, but, I just with how the local councillors and health and safety and stuff like that these days, I think it's just one of those things that is firmly sitting in the too hard basket.
Well, until I wonder if the rally has prompted the recent work on part of Old North Road, because until recently it was like a battlefield. The potholes in there were just insane. I actually had someone I work with who came out here to see the hairdresser, and she said to me, "How long has the road been that bad out there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know, it's been really rough." I think it's because they were just where the turnoff is before, just after Taylor Road. There must be a development site going on in there, because there's a whole heap of trucks just coming in, turning in and out of there.
I know the spot you're talking about.
And I think they just tore that intersection up, and just over the last 6 months, that seems to be done now, and they've just gone through and patched it. But yeah, it's good roads for motorcycling, and the rally, that'd be great to watch a bit of that out here.
They were doing it on dirt roads, man.
Yeah.
Oh mate, it's insane. Like, we could and there was no fees or anything. When we were kids out here, we could go out and have a look. It was so loud.
Yeah.
And there's so many cars, and they just got like, okay, every 10 minutes, however long the next one goes. Yeah.
I went and saw a night leg once down in Manukau, and because it was in the dark, you get to notice some things like the exhaust pipes, the tailpipes on those cars, they glow red hot once they've finished the circuit. They just come in at night time, and these things are just glowing.
And the brakes.
Yeah, well, the brakes, of course. The brakes catch fire half the time. Yeah. You see flame coming off them.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive stuff, eh?
Oh.
I'm not a big motorsport fan, but I can appreciate that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. I'm not either, but I do enjoy. I got invited along to a race day with some mates. They call themselves the Racists.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
It's a great name. But yeah, actually, Dan was there as well. But really good fun. They had about 4 or 5 little driving rigs set up with PlayStations, and we just competed on that for a day.
yeah.
That was a heap of fun. You kind of you learn after a little while that you've just got to relax and calm down because it gets your adrenaline going. Like the graphics are so good.
What game is it that they're using?
That's a really good question. I want to say Gran Turismo 7.
Oh, I've got that at
like
home.
that.
It's so hard.
It was good. You can give yourself different levels of assistance. Some of the guys had overlays where it was showing you like where your lines should be through the
and
corners,
when you should start braking.
your braking markers and all that kind
But
of
man,
thing.
like if you turn all of that stuff off,
Yeah.
and you have to be so at one with the racetrack, like every inch of the track, because it's like you have to have like a signpost or a fence post or a rock or something that's on the something that is there as it's coming towards you. That's when I need to start braking.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you brake at the wrong time, and the flipping the targets you have to meet to get your gold medal.
Ah, yeah.
So hard. Like, and if you miss it by 0.001 of a second, you get the silver, and you're like, because it might be another 20 flipping games to try and
Get there again. Yeah.
Especially if you've had a few beers and it's all over.
You've got that window. It's like playing pool.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing. We had the beer window. I got lucky. I hit the beer window in the race, the second part, because we were doing 40 laps, 2 guys in a team, so you had 10 lap racing, and then the other guy come and race for 10. And my first 10 laps, the guys were good. We got there early. Like, have you done it before? I was like, man, I haven't raced one of these honestly in 30 years. Like in my 20s, I used to have a PS2 and I do a bit of this. I haven't touched one since. And like, okay, so I have a few laps. I do a few warm-up laps. I was like, Jesus, I'm rusty. And I was on the foot pedals. I was pushing that hard on the brakes that the foot pedal unit was sliding forward. And I was having to reach down and drag it back because you're just getting too into it.
Did it have the haptic feedback on the pedals?
No, not on the pedals, but on the steering wheel. Yeah, get a bit of a kick in that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was good. But the realisation really came in that after the first 10 laps of just trying to go fast and trying to use all the brake markers, as they said, and trying to go too quick and just overcooking corner after corner. The second time round, I was just like, I'm just going to ignore these brake markers and just try and look at it and drive it like it feels, and I'll just back off a little bit. And I creamed the second 10 laps because of that.
Yeah, you don't have to go, well, just depends. You need to know when you can go full accelerator pedal. I think that's the big difference, because when you're driving your own car, it's not like you just like floor it everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you're in a hurry.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, oh, fuck, I'm running late for the airport. It just doesn't happen like that. So, yeah, I think that's the big thing. Like with games, with the traditional PlayStation, it only had the thumb buttons, which was like accelerate on, off, brake on, off, you know what I mean? And the programming of the game would allow you just a little bit of leeway. But now with those haptic triggers and stuff like that, it doesn't let you do anything. Like if you squeeze the brake, it's just you lock up and that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
And you just go off onto the flipping bleachers, eh?
Yeah.
Same as with the accelerator pedal. You try and, take off the mark. It's like you start,
just spinning.
And the other cars take off in front of you. It's, fuck, that's it. I've lost bloody 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You back off that and start again. And it's like, it's so hard. That game is so hard. It's so realistic.
Matt was saying his brother got banned off the whole PlayStation network for a week or 2 weeks because he told someone that he said, "Oh, you're fucking gay," like something like that. He said that, and I don't know if he actually said it, and it was, someone reported it, or if it was just said, and they monitor everything you say.
I'd say he would have been reported.
Yeah, but he got banned for 2 weeks. Couldn't play any of his PlayStation games for a fortnight.
How good's that?
It's full on, eh?
There'd be some people out there saying this is dumb.
Yeah,
but to be fair, it's a community, and you don't walk into the pub and look at somebody and say, you're a gay.
Yeah, that's right.
Because then it's like, mate, you're not welcome back here. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So why should it be any different online?
And the other thing Matt said, and he was racing somebody, said he got the second. He was just about to get up there and win. And then someone came through from behind and just T-boned him. And so he went to write, "Oh, you cock," and it wouldn't let him. It wouldn't let him send.
Oh dear, yeah. Oh, I mean, look, in a group of your mates, you can do and say what you want, but there's kids on the other end of that thing sometimes, and
that's the thing. It's that whole you don't know who you're talking to half the time or who you're racing. You know, and that's the thing I guess with something like Fortnite. Again, I'm not being negative. I mean, online games, they are great, and I saw a thing the other day. They're trying to get old people into it who live at home and isolated. Yeah, because if they give them a headset and it can PS4 or for PS5, they can actually contact people and they can build a community of people and they get together and they game, which is really good. But in the same respect, kids can be on there and they just don't know who's joining in the games with them and starting to try and mine them for information, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, they do set up rooms. Like I could go on there and I can set up a room and say, this is Joseph's room and these are the rules of the room. But depending on how many rules there are and how many people you want to join, you could be sitting in the lobby for 2 hours waiting to join in on a game. Yeah, and then you could get a headshot within 20 seconds. It's like, oh, cool, sweet. That was such a fun game. It was so worth it.
Such a good day.
Imagine that. I don't do online gaming at all. I don't actually really play games, but when I'm in the mood, it'll be Gran Turismo. I think that's like
driving. Yeah,
that's it. That's the only. When that came out, that was 6 months ago now. Number 7 for the PS5. I was like, I have to get that. $160.
Yeah,
so expensive.
Yeah. Do you race it to try to complete the game and actually get the gold medal or the championship?
That's right. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm just still going. Like I had a spell where I was playing it, but then I don't get to play it as much as what
life gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah. So I was just getting the licenses so I could get new cars and get some tracks. Yeah. But I mean, like I've only just started. It's so prolific. You could play this game for years and years and years and not complete it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. It's like golf. If there's no perfect, you know what I mean? Like every race, every game you have of golf is different. Every race you play in this game is different, and
you can keep on competing with yourself to try to just get better and better.
That's
and better
right.
And better.
Yeah, you don't have to beat anybody else at all, and you can still have fun.
A friend and I used to
race. I do like winning.
We used to race a Pikes Peak race, and he would at that time I wasn't working, and so I'd be up at night time and I'd just be like doing Pike Peak races, just getting there as quick as I could, setting the best time I could. I'd go to bed, he'd get up, he'd look at it and go, oh, he's beat me by like 0.4 of a second. So he'd race, until he'd beat me by a fraction of a second. And then I'd come back and look at, oh man, he's beaten me. And this went on for a couple of weeks, but we were just like at the point where we were shaving like tenths or hundredths of a second. It took you all day to get there. And then you'd be like, right, catch that, buddy.
And that's what it's like, getting the licenses. It is in the hundredths of seconds.
Yeah.
The difference between silver and gold and then silver and bronze is minute, but the difference between silver and bronze is huge.
Yeah.
But like if you're constantly getting silvers all the time, it just seems like there's no easy way, no real way to do it apart from actually race it properly. So that's why the licenses are good, because it teaches you how to.
That's the thing. I think you've just got to. You hit that level where it's like, this is really hard. Because you actually need to train your brain now and your hand-eye coordination to hit those markers exactly right. Otherwise, you just can't go any faster than that.
Yeah, and I like the ghost car on the licenses, if you remember that. And
I hate the ghost car.
It's you, though.
I know it's me, but how frustrating is it when you're doing good and it cocks something up and it just shoots past you? Oh, that fucking ghost car.
It's like the chicane at the end and you just hit the flipping thing and then... How can I do that fast, exiting that corner and getting everything perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
The ghost car. I heard a heartfelt story actually about a guy who he lost his father. Him and his dad used to race one of those games, and when he was younger, and he found like the old game, whatever it was, and stuck it in, and it had his dad's ghost car.
Oh, how
so
cool.
he races the race, but he always pulls back at the end. He stops before the finish line because he can beat his dad now, but he doesn't, so that his dad's ghost car always remains. So whenever he plays, the ghost car's there.
Oh, that's nice, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Interesting, sort of sad story, but bittersweet story.
Well, quite a few sad stories going around at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon, yeah.
Oh, yeah, just in general.
In general, yeah.
Oh, yeah, shit,
Crazy.
man. It's a bit sad stuff. And I saw, again, a heartwarming thing. I don't know if it's staged or not. I'll not be cynical and say it wasn't. But some dude over in the Ukraine getting leave and coming home to his front yard and yelling out, and his little, 7-year-old kid seeing him and just running to his dad, and his dad running to him, in his army fatigues and all that sort of stuff. It was a beautiful scene.
A lot of that in America too, eh? Soldiers coming back from Iraq and all this sort of business, eh?
Yeah. That'd be tough, hey, overseas for a period of time
that.
like that. In a risky environment, thinking, any day I could get blown up, and then getting home and seeing your kids. It'd be a pretty amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means a lot, eh? Like, you sort of take it for granted, eh? Your kids and all that sort of thing, but...
I'm trying not to, just. It's particularly strong now because my kids are young, so they're still so innocent. The questions that they ask you just see them sometimes, because they're mature, they're well-spoken kids, but they'll ask you some question and you go, "Oh my God, you guys are still so innocent." You just don't know. Well, you tell them some bullshit story, and they're like, "Is that really true, Dad? Does that really happen?"
Yeah. Well, it gets better, eh? Like when they start getting their sense of humour and so funny, man. Like I said, it was Jackson's birthday yesterday, and he had 3 of his mates over, and they're all late 11 or 12. And they're just so funny. Yeah. They got each one of them's got their own personalities and this sort of thing, you know. And it's cute. Like, I took them to jump out in Albany, and we were driving along, and I'm just a big kid myself, so I'm doing fart jokes and all of this sort of stuff, and they're saying, "Oh, Jackson, you're so lucky. Your dad's so funny. He's the best dad ever," And I'm like, "Oh, it's so funny." And Jackson's like, "Yeah, well, when we have our kids, this is what we're going to do." And I dropped a joke. I was like, "Sorry, Wills, but don't mean to break it to you, but you can't have kids if you're in love with other boys." And even then, he's just like, oh, that's why me and Finn can't have kids. And Finn being there. Yeah, shit, it was fucking made me laugh.
Yeah, they've got the sense of humour, they start to get it, and play it back to you.
It was so funny, man.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Like, probably a little bit, I couldn't believe it. But at that age, they're being that quick.
Yeah.
The good kids, man. It's had an absolute blast.
Yeah, that's good, man. I would like to have more kids. I'm too old for it now. But if I had the chance, like if I met Renee earlier, I guess we would have had more kids. I think because I just love them. It's drive me fucking insane sometimes, but I just love them.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Yeah, I think I was just too busy with work and. I don't know, any excuse, but I feel like I missed out a lot on the kids at sort of that younger age bracket. Oh, yeah. And if I could do it back again, then,
I know a guy, very successful businessman. He's on his second wife and kids now, and so he made a lot of money, and now he takes a lot of time out to go and spend with those kids. And I spoke to him about it, and he said, "Look, I missed it with my first wife. We broke up because I was working all the time, and I didn't spend time with my kids. And now they're in their 30s, and that. I try to spend time with them, but I missed them as children. And so now I think he's got 2 young boys. He just tries to put that time into them. It's important.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Honestly, it's not easy. There's no, and you can't turn the time. But if you could go back and tell yourself, what would you do? So it was good. Oh shit, I'm getting all choked up. It was good. It was a good time with them.
Yeah, good, man. That's good. My 2 here must have just gone to the park because it's become surprisingly quiet. I had to put a sign up before in the hallway. I was like, "No jumping," just while Dad and Joseph are downstairs because their bedrooms are just up here. Yeah. And there's been a couple of times on here where you just hold for a second, bong 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 bong, and I'll hear how to do it again. Do you use Twitter? Do you go on Twitter?
I used to all the time, as part of the business package. well, not package, I shouldn't say. I mean, it's just, yeah, it seemed to be the social media du jour at the time, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get what Twitter's about now. It's kind of like, I'm doing this now. And so if you've got a bunch of followers, like, thousands or something like that, and I say I've gone to Christchurch for argument's sakes, and I want to go to Pomeroy's bar, I'll say I'm going to Pomeroy's bar in an hour. Who wants to come down for a beer?
Yeah.
And then that goes out to Twitter, and then people, oh well, shit, yeah, we'll see that. But I mean, there's so many other, like Instagram for argument's sakes it's instant, so you could do it there, and I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do. I think for different people, Twitter has different uses. Like, I've been on Twitter with various accounts for years, and I think I've posted once. I once posted something to Mick West, the UFO skeptic. He's a really interesting guy. I posted him some question about something. He was posting me. I was like, "Hey, could this be that?" And he was like, "Yeah, it could be." So I don't use it for posting anything, but as a news source, I think it's just the best news source ever.
Oh, it's instantaneous.
It's instant. Yeah, it's like, oh shit.
Nobody's actually writing any article.
No, but you're getting it. You can be aware of what's happening right now around the place. Yeah. Hey, there's a meteor going down over the coast of Scotland. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Check that out. Go Google it. Oh, it hasn't even turned up on Google yet. A couple of hours later, it's there. Yeah. Whatever it might be. So I find it's interesting for that. It's also, I found it really good in terms of trying to get different viewpoints on topics, like the elections, because it's just so easy. It's so polarized. It's so easy to go and find, okay, oh, these people are clearly on the left and these people are clearly on the right, and okay, I'm going to follow both of them, and then you start to get to see what just different people's arguments are. I think that's
actually, cool I did. It's funny you mentioned that, because there was the All Black versus Australia game.
I was robbed.
Exactly. That's the way that you feel.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you mentioned Twitter, because I did go through so many people's arguments against each other.
Yeah.
There's so many keyboard warriors out there with this, and it's bullying and
I can never remember.
But you weren't robbed.
We were robbed.
No chance, mate.
Robbed.
Why were you robbed?
It was just too harsh a call. There was time wasting wasn't going on. It was just preparing. You're allowed to prepare.
What? So the guy had the ball in his hand, and 8 of his teammates are having a huddle. That's
preparation. Tactics is the end of the game. It's got to be very careful and strategic in how you play that out. As we saw, it wasn't played out well.
and it was funny because it was on Twitter that I watched this video. It was of a drone, and it had the referee's microphone playing, and you could see everything. No cameras cutting.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Between, like as the Sky production was.
Yeah.
So, if you watch this video, you'd probably rethink your...
It's interesting that when you get that bird's eye view. Years ago, I went to the footy at the MCG, went and watched Hawthorn play the Swans or someone, and sat right up the back in the stadium. And it was the most frustrating game of football I've ever watched in my life, because it got, like normal local footy or even a big game, but normally you're down at the fence line. So you've just got this view. You've got the player's view effectively. When you're sitting in the stadium and you're up here, you're looking down. It's like a bird's eye view.
Yeah, how small's the field?
Well, yeah, the field, that's well designed. You can see what's going on. Well, that's the thing. You can see what's going on too well. You can see where the gaps are and where they should be kicking and moving. And you're like, why did you do that? No, do that.
Yeah, it's like the PlayStation version of playing rugby, eh?
Yeah. It's just, you can see you've got too much input, and you have input of what's going on that the players don't have from their view. And so it makes, I hated it. I would want to go down to the fence again, just watch it from the fence. It makes much more sense, easy to watch from there.
Good shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Twitter's an interesting thing. I've been starting to use it a little bit, but like you say, just as an announcement thing. It's like, there's a new post gone up, but I've got no followers at the moment. But over time, that will work, And once you've grown a community, for people who've got a community, I think Twitter makes sense to use because, like you say, got followers, going to do this. Okay, they're aware. You can get engagement from people that way. But yeah. But a lot of people are just the keyboard warriors out there fighting with each other.
Well, I think it's good too. I mean, if you're a notable person and you interact with people any form of those social medias really, but because Twitter's so instantaneous, I know a lot of people who have been either responded to or retweeted by some really famous celebrities overseas, and it makes them feel so special.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Bit of attention from someone famous online, and you're like, well, that's for me. Like with Mick West, when I sent him this question about that, and then he replied, I was like, wow. I was in the kitchen, I was going, hey, Renee, I was just talking to Mick West. And she's like, who's Mick West? I was like, don't you know?
Yeah, I haven't had any big interactions, but people who interact with me, I mean, I'm just a regular sort of dude in my mind, but to some people who are like hardcore craft beer fans, and you interact with them, I don't know, they go, oh yeah, give you a thumbs up or something like that. They probably go back to the kitchen and tell their wives, oh no, I just saying Joseph Wood, can you believe it? Yeah, I don't think about things like that. But it's weird, man. You go to Beervana and all these beer festivals and whatnot, and when you actually do, people who come up to you and say, man, your beer, that Monster, that's the first beer that got me into craft beer. And you changed my whole life. And I'm like, sweet as, bro. Yeah. Chat and shake hands. And they're like, I'm never washing this hand again.
Are you coping with the fame okay?
Oh, it's funny that you say that, because I used to I used to avoid it like the plague. So people would queue up to have a moment to talk or whatever, and it's sort of, they're half the time, towards the end of the night, they're drunk and they start spitting at you, and it's kind of like, I don't want to do this anymore. But just this last Beervana gone, it was fucking awesome. It was good to be back doing it. You know what I mean?
After the break, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun being popular.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I guess that's why people aim for it and try and achieve it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Some people happen to be famous because that's just what they do for a job, and then they go out in public and flipping costumes and disguise.
Yeah, so people don't know them. Yeah. Well, I guess when you're really famous, that's the thing. It's just you can't get away from it anymore. You're stuck everywhere you go.
I like being in Helensville, mate. Nobody recognises me, man.
Really?
It's fine.
Yeah. Everyone knows you here.
Well, apart from at the tap room.
Yeah. Do you ever get any bad press? Do you get people heckling you at the beer festivals or anything like that?
No. Because I reckon we've got a good reputation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've never done anything untoward, and we don't. I think I've had some run-ins with some various things over the years, like because we do meat stock. I'm into the meat and all this sort of stuff, so we've had some, anti-meat things going on, but I can't really think of anything that's directly related to beer making that people have had a go at me about. Yeah. Unless, there was some religious thing, because they're anti-booze. Booze is the devil.
Yeah.
I remember that. Fuck, that was ages. I can't even remember specifically what it was, but not a heckler at a festival. It's more just some conversation that I had with some person who's entitled to their views.
Yeah. No. Fair enough, I suppose. You can imagine, though, once you start to become popular, that's it. Your head's up above the parapet. You're going to cop it from someone.
Oh, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
You're going to get it. You can't avoid it.
The meat one, that's one that I imagine will get more and more flack over time. That just seems to be heating up at the moment, social media, the whole thing.
It did, and to me it feels like it's almost quietening off.
Yeah.
Like people just... Because there was a period where veganism was so new and so cool.
It's reached its peak popularity, you think? Yeah.
Yeah, no, and they were just like really vocal about it. And like, how many of them are going to do that for the rest of their lives? Do you know what I mean? Like, are you going to be that Karen forever and ever and ever? Or are you just going to like be, maybe I should just tone it down a bit. I don't know. I don't have any friends anymore.
Yeah. I have a vegan cat.
Do you know what I mean? So... It feels like it's tapering off. Not that there's a problem with... I don't have a problem with it myself.
No, I'm neither. People want to eat only plants. Great. Yeah, eat what you like. I did the carnivore diet for 15 months.
Carnivore?
Yeah.
Just meat?
Just meat for 15 months.
How'd that go?
Great. it was the best thing, the healthiest I think I've ever been. In
Really?
Yeah, I did it at, what age would I have done it? About age 48, I suppose I started it. Yeah, something like that. It was awesome,
For
man.
what purpose?
I was doing it to try to see if I could remove an autoimmune condition I've got
Right.
around my thyroid, because I've read that some people had done that and had achieved it. It didn't work for me. My thyroid's just shot by the sounds of things. It's just been attacked for too long. It just does nothing left to really regenerate and repair, I think, is the problem I've got now. But that's why I did it. But the unexpected benefits were, so I started on a Thursday. It was Sunday, I think it was, or Monday. And I said to Renee, my anxiety's gone. Just the general anxiety of getting up, going to work, and what's going to happen today just had dropped dramatically. After 2 weeks, it had just about gone. I lost 8 kilos of weight in 6 weeks. My mood improved. I started to hit the gym again, and I was mentally more able to go hard at the gym than I'd ever been before.
Oh, plus, you got a bunch of building blocks that you're constantly ingesting, eh?
Yeah.
Protein,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's the argument. There's proteins in everything.
Protein and fat. Yeah, but it's those proteins and fat that have grown together, you know, and yeah, your body just absorbs them, just takes them in. It was really good. I had no ill effects of it at all. It was, you know, dental health, teeth got better, health of gums and that sort of got better as well.
Funny, eh?
Yeah, just not taking that sugar and those carbs in, and the bacteria. Apparently, that's why the mood changes and the anxiety goes away. Is you just change the gut flora of your stomach to be bacteria that eats protein and fat, as opposed to ones that eat carbohydrates, and whatever the byproduct of them processing different products themselves has an impact upon your mood. And yeah, man, it was good. I just stopped because of the lockdowns. When the lockdowns happened, it became harder for me to then go and source meat. And I don't know. I think that whole period of time, I was like, oh, I'm just going to back off and start eating again. I just sort of fell back into eating other foods and things. But yeah, I'd do again if I had the ability to get to a couple of, locally grown cows, that sort of thing, and fill the freezer. Yeah, I'd do it again. I eat a lot of meat now. I still don't. I'm pretty close, but I'm not in the carnivore diet zone anymore. But I'm not far off it.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it was interesting. The guy I started to follow a bit of was Dr. Sean Baker. So he's a American guy. He was about 54, 55 now. He's been on the carnivore diet for years. And when he was 50 or 51, he set the world indoor seated row record for, I want to say 500 meters or something, or whatever it is. He holds the world record for that then across all age groups. He was just the fastest man on the planet at age 50 doing that, and just a pure meat diet. Yeah. It's funny. People say, "Oh, well, don't you get constipated?" It's like, no, because all you're eating is protein and fat. You're just protein and fat.
Yeah.
It just gets absorbed. You just don't go to the toilet as often because you just don't have to. There's just not that undigestible.
How much biltong did you eat?
Oh, heaps, man. So I was buying. Yeah, I was going to the supermarket. I was actually going to the little butcher behind you guys, behind the tap room. Back then, because he still had the shop before the lockdowns. He had the retail shop. And I was just looking through his freezer and getting all the cheap stuff that I could get. Now, I was eating a heap of lamb hearts and getting liver and all that sort of stuff and getting right into it, getting it real cheap, eating that. And so I'd get like an old topside roast and just chop it up and make it jerky. Yeah, heaps of it.
You could just have that for lunch. I've been doing that. I got a whole swag load of biltong recently, and like when I'm feeling lazy, it's like 100 grams.
So easy.
And it's your lunch.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. But it was fun. When I first started it, you know, because I researched a couple of people about it. Other person who, who was doing it at the time I was doing it was Jordan Peterson had started doing it because his daughter, Michaela, had started. She was suffering from arthritis, really, really bad arthritis. It was an autoimmune issue. And so she'd moved on to the carnivore diet and got great benefit because of that. That's right. There was the other one I was doing it then. Yeah, it was fun. I'd do it again.
Who cooked for the kids? You?
Oh yeah, I would cook.
Yeah.
I would cook, and we just do normal food for the rest of the family.
Yeah.
But when I started, I was researching, and some of these guys like, if you're going to do this, look, you might get hungry. Just have another steak. And then if you get hungry 2 hours later for these first few days, just have another steak. And I'm like, this works for me. I can try this.
Oh man, it end up being quite expensive these days, eh?
Well, yeah, that's a challenge. That's why if you can get half a beast from someone, like it's a home kill, and you get it. Then back when I was doing it, I was averaging it out at $8 a kilo is what it was costing me.
It's not too. It's
pretty good.
I don't reckon you could do that these days.
It would cost you a bit more, I imagine, if you're home killing. I'm now about the best if I go and buy bulk meat from Gilmore's or Pack and Save or whatever. About $16 a kilo is the cheapest you can get.
Yeah,
you get big hunks of rump.
Rump's the one. Yeah, it's the best value for money steak, I reckon.
Yeah. Best value for money, definitely. It is. And you get those.
It tastes nice and
chumps.
beefy, and
It's got enough fat in it that it's tasty. If they've left a bit of fat on the outside, beautiful.
Man, I tell you what, if you want to treat yourself, the picanha from go to the Westmere Butcher.
Oh, they're good, aren't they?
Yeah, man. And they've got this Australian Wagyu.
Have they?
They call it, so picanha's the rump cap.
Yeah.
That one triangular piece with the hunk of fat on the top of it. Yeah. So you can just imagine it all marbled like Wagyu and whatnot. I love that one. It is so good. Better than Scotch fillet, man. Straight up.
The Scotch is the benchmark.
It's the benchmark.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you go to the supermarket or the butcher, say even if you're in New World, or no offense to Andy, look, he does good steaks. Any Scotch fillet is amazing. Unless you get a Wagyu one, then it's off the charts. But you can't afford it because it's going to be $140 to $200 a kilo for this particular brand of Wagyu. But their picanha, which is it's a Brazilian cut, is it's only, I don't know, I think I got it's $50 a kilo, which for Wagyu is it's really good value for money. And we use 2 kilo hunks of it, or 1.5 kilos or something like that. However you do it, you can cut it into steaks yourself, cook it whole. It's such a treat. Yeah, it's an absolute treat. And like I say, that it's not picanha in general. It's the Carrara Wagyu picanha is the best steak I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, it's not entirely true. I mean, some of them are unachievable. Like I've had, really good steak in Japan, which you can't get in New Zealand. And even if you could, it's ridiculously expensive, like, $1,000 a kilo type thing. So you don't count that. That's like elite level stuff. For stuff that's attainable at home, that stuff is the business. Yeah.
The Brazilians, they love their meat. I mean, we were just in Ponsonby the other day, and there's that little hot grill, tiny little corner store they have in there, and they just have the smoke going in the coals, and they've got these big hunks of meat, and you end up getting these like big beef cutlets that are just dripping in fat and being roasted over the coals. Just gorgeous food.
Man, I'm a huge fan. I love it. Yeah. I've been doing it for years and years and years now.
The Brazilians, there was some connection between the amount of meat you eat and success in soccer. Was that it? It was something like that.
Correlation.
Correlation between countries where they eat a lot of meat and they end up having really good soccer players.
I suppose you're right, isn't it? Like, they are famous as a nation of footballers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do eat a meat. I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They eat more meat than Americans.
Yeah. Nice. How long have you got today? Do you need to keep going?
Oh, it's been an hour,
We've been going for an hour. Yeah.
Shit. Feels like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. No, let's keep it short today. Just have a quick one and then come back and do another one sometime.
Do a beer-related one.
Yeah, we'll have some beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice one.
Sweet. Oh, that went well.
Yeah, man. That was good. It's pretty easy.